Here we are inside the 2017 Benimar Tessoro 486. If we first come to the main control panel, we'll turn the 12 volt on, so we need to press this one first and then this one. Once we've done that, we can then turn the water pump on. We need the water pump to be on to get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler up if it's been emptied. This next one just works the awning light. Buttons along the bottom give us information regarding batteries and water. So this one here, if I now press this, will give us an indication of the leisure battery, as you can see, fully charged. And then if we then press this one, it will then give us an indication of the vehicle battery. To know how much water's on board, we press this one here, and at the moment we've got a minimal amount on board, and because we've got a minimal amount on board, this little amber light will flash occasionally to let us know that we need to be topping up with water. When your grey water tank needs emptying, light will flash next to the waste tank just here, and if either of the batteries did get low, again it will let you know. This button here just controls the illumination of the control panel, so we can dim it down and brighten it back up again. You will get an illumination here when you are hooked up to main supply, and a light will illuminate here when you start the engine to let you know the alternator is charging the batteries. Both batteries are located underneath the passenger and driver's seat. So underneath the passenger seat we have the leisure battery, and underneath the driver's seat we have the engine battery. If we now go underneath this bench seat just here, you will see the consumer unit. So we have the battery charger just here. Beside that we then have the 12 volt fuses just there, and then we have the trips located just there. If we then scoot across to the other side, just down here we have the location of the controls for the boiler. So the boiler in this model works on gas, so we need to make sure we've taken the flue cover off outside and that the gas is switched on, and then basically if we flick it up we can heat hot water to about 50 degrees, and if we flick it down we can heat hot water to about 70 degrees. If it fails to light, a red light will appear to let you know. The location of the boiler is just beneath this cushion just here. So if we just move the cushions out of the way, the boiler is located here, and to drain it down for winterization we just need to come to the drain lever just here. At the moment it's in the closed position with it being flapped over. To drain it down, all you need to do is flap it up into the vertical position, and it will then drop all the water out of the boiler. To fill it back up again, put it back in the position it is at the moment. Make sure you've got water in your fresh water tank and turned your water pump back on again, and it will commence priming the system back up again. I do always suggest that when you are draining down, especially for winterization, once you've drained all your tanks off, that you then also open up all your taps. That will release airlocks, etc. But also, if there is a harsh frost, what we hopefully want to happen is that the water, as it freezes, gets forced out the end of the taps into icicles instead of expanding in the pipework and splitting it. If we now move back across, and then we go to the two travel seats. If I now remove those cushions, you will see that we have the freshwater tank just here. So we have the water pump just sitting on top of it, and then we can also gain access to the freshwater tank just here if we want to add cleaning powders like Puri Clean, etc. Television aerial plug-in is just up here, so fly lead, etc. just up here. You've got 12 volt and a main socket, and then the actual television aerial is just located above the fridge freezer. The digital amplifier just sits there. It has a signal finder in it, so obviously the more green it is, the better the signal strength. Just undo the collar and then raise the mast up, get it into the position that's required. We can turn it on and off just here, and we can control the gain just on the front. We then have the Thetford fridge freezer just here. So to turn the unit on, just press this button just here and hold it in, and it will then fire up. This is an automatic fridge, so as long as you're on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can. So because we're not currently hooked up to main supply or anything, it's now attempting to fire us up onto gas. If I then plugged it into the main supply, it would then automatically switch over to mains electricity, and as soon as you start the engine, it will then go over to 12 volt maintain to keep itself cold on the move. We can take it out of this mode if we wish, just by holding down the grey button, and it will then begin to flash, and then we just use the arrow keys to pick. So we can pick main supply, we can pick 12 volt maintain, and then we can pick gas. But auto is the easiest one to have it on. Once I've selected, it will then go across the temperature control, and again you can then alter it. And then to turn the unit back off again, just hold it in. If we now move across to the other side, just above the hob, we have the solar panel regulator. You do not need to do anything with this, it will just let you know what it's up to. So you'll see at the moment there's a green light on, so it's kind of in float mode at the minute, so it's either doing very little or nothing at all. It just means that the batteries do not require a charge. Whenever it's popping a charge in, the one above it will go amber, and then on the other side you have an alarm fuse, and if that one goes red, it's just letting you know that the fuse is blown, and you just need to remove this cover and replace the fuse. If you get the other alarm one, obviously there's something more serious wrong with the solar panel, and it will need to go into a technician to be looked at. You have your 3 gas burners just here. There is no igniter for these, so you will need to either use matches or a lighter, but it's very simple, push and twist to ignite. And then we have the oven and the grill just here. Push in to the left for the oven and push in to the right for the grill. We then have the gas isolation taps just here. They're all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say, smell gas in the van, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. We then have the washroom just here, so we have the shower just here. Do make sure that we're clipped back for travel. And then we have the Thetford toilet just here. To open and close the cassette, just like so. Push to flush, and then make sure that you're all closed back up again. If this is not in the closed position and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. On the wardrobe door, it does give you the configuration for the second bed. And obviously you need to lower the table, which is just done by putting the key in here. And then with the top bed, obviously you need to put your key in here. Once you put your key in and you've turned it on and the lights have all flashed, then you can operate. Never put the key in and then whilst the lights are flashing start pressing buttons, because you can confuse the bed and it will lose its memory. With the door locked, unlocked, pull your trigger. If this is flicked up to red, it will then lock as well, so do make sure that you've got your keys in your hand.